Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name's Michelle. I'm a technical theatre student showcasing my everyday life and everything creative and fun in between. In today's video, you're not going to be seeing my face for much longer because I am showing you the behind the scenes process of making my first carnival set design for the show A Midsummer Night's Dream. So a little bit about this is that we had to design the show for one of our projects at university, and we basically got the script for A Midsummer Night's Dream and had to design the two main settings, which is the forest and the palace. So I'll attach a few little mood board pictures, and yeah, let's just get straight into this video. I don't want to talk too much because it's basically just gonna be a time lapse of how I made it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video, and if you like creative content like this, please make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know what you think about my set design, any tips or critique even. I would love to hear what you think about it because it's something that I really enjoy doing and would love to get better at. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So I started off with a white paper model, which is basically just a rough model of the design I chose, and here's some thoughts I had afterwards. Okie dokie, so this is the set model so far. She went pretty well. There's a few extra thingies over here, but that's kind of, I'm happy with how this whole sloping thing is looking. It's very even, and I feel like you would be able to climb up until here. Excuse the leaning, shame she's not super neat, but the ramps, I also like how that looks. The pillars, questionable, because I forgot that this distance over here is going to add, so that pillar is going to be a bit of a squeeze, and I think it's going to be too much on that back wall. So I'm thinking of rather doing maybe something like this. I quite like the staggering rather than all in a line. That also looks quite nice actually, and that's also actually quite nice. It kind of frames it to the center. Instead of all these pillars over here, I don't know if that's gonna be a bit too crowded for the space. I think this kind of uses the sharper shapes, but it's not all square. This setting, I forgot to mention, this is probably, it was originally this tall, but I think I should make it rather like half a meter tall than a meter, because against this it's a bit too similar. So I'm going with a half a meter. Oops, goes my bush. But I really like this setting. It creates nice little spaces, and that really is giving forest and chopped down trees with the slanted vibes. And there's still going to be like a tree in the center. But yeah, so for this, I might get rid of the other square pillar here because I feel like it's going to block from this side. So I might just use this pillar. Sorry, that's supposed to go there. The little tree stump over there, that won't block as much. But yeah, I'm worried that this pillar might block it too much, so I might move that just a bit further back. Or place it somewhere else. Yeah, I don't know exactly what's going to happen to her yet. And then the tree vibes, obviously there's going to be more small things. I like this little bush moment and the trees in the background. So yeah, there's going to be a short pillar there. I can maybe put that in the background just to give the idea. It's not going to be that length, but a pillar there and a pillar there. And then there'll also be pillars over here. Well, not pillars, but trees. You get the idea, but for this, I don't think there's too much I want to change, but yeah. Once I was done making notes for myself, it was time to construct all my pieces and put everything together. So I kind of cut out the cutting part because I thought it was going to be pretty boring, but I cut out all my pieces for my pillars and started assembling them with cardboard. I used contact to stick all my pieces together because it creates really nice and clean lines, and it makes the pieces super sturdy. And can I tell you, the pillars took so long to stick together. That's literally the part that took the most time, but it was also really satisfying seeing everything come together. And there's something about tiny little things that is just so cute. Like, this process was honestly kind of addictive. And once I was done with my pillars, I moved on to constructing my rostrum and ramps, which is going to be center stage. Yeah, that was pretty easy, except for the ramps. I forgot how much math I would need to use for this. Yeah, so I was making silly little mistakes with my calculations, but I got there eventually. So let me tell you a bit more about my design as I'm doing the constructing phase, because it took quite a while. So because we had to design the two settings, which are vastly different, but I still wanted to find a way to have a golden thread in between. We had some restrictions, like we couldn't make use of fly bars, which means the scenery would like come up and down from the ceiling, and we couldn't use a revolve. So scene changing the set would be quite a challenge, and that was a challenge I would have to work around. So my whole concept, and you can see it in my mood board as well, is to have the pillars double up as trees. So on the one side they are painted like the Greek pillars, and on the other side they are painted like trees in a forest. And through them kind of changing into the different sets or scenes, it creates that sense of disorientation, confusion, and also that sense of like nature taking over and order somewhat being broken and then restored. So yeah, I really thought my concept was quite nifty and I was very proud of it. And you'll see in the end how it comes together. I think it really came together nicely. I, of course, was also really inspired by Greek architecture. Obviously, this play is set in Athens, but there's just something about Greek architecture that is so beautiful and shows that sense of structure and order. And in that kind of being broken down, it also conveys the narrative of the play. And once I was done with that, I moved on to my circular pillars, which was so much easier to make. I used corrugated cardboard, which honestly saved me in this design, because they really give that Greek pillar effect, and you just roll it and stick it to make a little tube, and that creates the circular pillars, which are also going to double up as trees in the forest scene. I also used the corrugated cardboard on my square pillars to create that same Greek pillar effect. This part was super satisfying to stick that corrugated cardboard on, and everything was just so crisp and so neat, and my perfectionist brain was just going absolutely crazy because it was just so satisfying. Here's a quick little overview of my pillars. So once I was done with the main construction, it was time to create the smaller details. So there I used some clay to create the decorations on the pillars, inspired by the Ionic pillars in Greece. So that was really tiny work. I literally rolled tiny little strings of clay. It was so nitty gritty and I was basically using a tweezer to do it. But it really creates such a beautiful finish on the pillars and it was so satisfying once it was done. So I just stuck that on with the contact as well once these little pieces were dry and put it on my pillars. And then on the other side of the pillars, I just used clay and molded it, kind of rounded it off. You will see that in a later part of the video. And once I was done doing those on these square pillars, I just did a bit of shading on them to make them look a bit aged because obviously they wouldn't be brand spanking new. And also white has the tendency to reflect quite a lot on stage. So showing that aging also helps to create the overall effect. And then my plan was with the other side of the pillars, I would put little vines on them just so it looks like the pillars have kind of been taken over by nature in the forest scene. So these pillars would just be turned around and you'll see the greenery on the other side and they look a bit more dilapidated and aged. I however forgot to catch that on video, so you will see it in the end result.
My friends are getting married, they're all settling down. So I lay here, watch the ceiling fan go round and round. And it's always gone too fast, like a trip to the beach or the life of James Dean. And it kills me to think I'm avoiding the pill I can't swallow. Haven't seen my twin brother, I keep missing his calls. It's funny just how easily a family can drift apart. I'm finally getting married to an angel in human form, but I still think about Nashville, we're staying here the right call. And it's always gone too fast, like a trip to the beach or the life of James Dean. And it kills me to think I'm avoiding the pill I can't swallow. And it comes, but it won't last, like you watching your life, waiting for the good part. And what kills me is I've been avoiding the happy ending.
So once I figured out my final pillar placements, I realized I needed to do something on the floor, which wasn't my original plan, but everything kind of looked like it was floating, so I drew out this brick effect, or I don't know, cobblestone tile effect, which is also inspired by the architecture from the research I did. and I was just adding a bit of greenery to it as well so that it can be repurposed in the forest scene to give that dilapidated yet architectural effect. Painting this literally gave me such a headache, like all the little squares. I don't know why, I literally got such a headache from painting this for so long. And I didn't want to do this over the whole stage because I thought it would be a bit overwhelming, so I just kind of patched it in spots that made it look appropriate, I guess. Soon after this, you will see me working on my backdrop. What I was doing there is I wanted to create kind of a wedding floral effect because most of the play is centered around the planning of this wedding that is taking place, but also these flowers kind of double as the forest canopy. So considering we couldn't have things flying up and down, that's why I wanted to double these things, and I just used some chiffon-y material and cut it out like a tree canopy, and then just sewed these little backdrops. I was too lazy to use a sewing machine, so I just quickly hand sewed it onto my little bars, and then I added tiny little flower garlands on it to create that little wedding flower effect, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. It was so cute. And that's how it ended up looking with the greenery and all the little painted details. I'm currently sewing all these backdrop pieces. Excuse my voice, I'm a sick girl. But yeah. And she's looking pretty good. I basically have a few finishing touches left and then I'm done. How exciting. So I'm currently making like these little people just for like perspective. So yeah. And here is the final result. I am so pleased with how it turned out, and I'm honestly quite proud of myself considering it's my first design, and I really love the duality of everything and all the little finishes and how everything turned out. With the pillars turning over and creating almost an entirely new setting. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please make sure to like and subscribe to stay tuned for more creative content. I absolutely love being creative and being arty, and I really hope you guys enjoy this content as well. Please do let me know if you do. Also, if you would like to see more images of my design and the other things I do with my behind the scenes projects, make sure to check out my Instagram page, which will be linked below. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!